Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is our weekly chat, so welcome in. If you are brand new, I would like to say welcome to Loving Life Freely on YouTube. And if you are returning, I would like to say thank you so much for your continued support and watching our videos. Again, hoping that they are a blessing to you. I'm excited about this weekly chat series that we've started. I've got some great questions already from some people, and have some things also that I want to mention myself regarding what we're going to talk about this week. So we have a few things. First of all, I would like to say Merry Christmas. I know it's a few days past, but I would like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to y'all. This will be going out before the New Year. And so I hope y'all are having a great holiday with your family, enjoying your time away. Maybe you've got some time off. But even so, I hope that everything is going really well for y'all. Let's dive into some of these questions, you guys. I had somebody comment below in the comments about some things that she's been working through. And she has such great things that she asked me to talk about today. And so I want to get to those first so I don't forget. And because I do get to talking and then oh shoot, I was going to mention that. So I do want to get to those right away. And then I also want to cover a few things about this week's chat and the new coming year. So let's dive in. First of all, she wanted to ask me what I thought about people who ask me if this item will fit me. Well, what is the best way to respond to such a question on any platform? That is a good question. And as we all know, being professional resellers, if you are a professional at this, if you do it full time and this is what you do for a living, which I am, and I know many of you are, even if you're a part-time reseller, you still have the professionalism that you want to portray in your comments and responses to some people that you just like, huh? With this question, I have had people reach out to me on eBay, Poshmark, and Depop, and I think on Mercari, asking me, do you think this item will fit me? Well, first and foremost, in every one of my listings that I've been doing in the past several months, I have measurements done in all my pictures. So typically, if the measurements are in the pictures or the measurements are in the description, because some of my older ones are in the description, I kindly come back with them and let them know all measurements are in the description. I hope these help. Because I don't share my personal measurements and I don't tell people if something will fit them, because every body type is so different. And even if you think that something will fit them, you don't want them to buy it and then come back and say, you told me this would fit me, and have them leave a bad review. So I am very cautious with how I respond. If people ask me to model things, which I have asked people if I'll model an item, I kindly let them know I'm sorry, I do not model my clothes. I have had people ask me, do you think this will fit me? And they will ask me what my measurements are, or they will send me their own personal measurements. Again, I reply and say, all measurements are in the description. I do hope this helps. And usually when I'm answering any type of question on any of my platforms, it doesn't matter the question, I always answer back with the answer that they're looking for. And then I always end my statements or my answers back with, I hope this helps. Then I give a smiley face, just to let them know that I'm here for you and I hope this helps for you. So that's kind of how I've been handling that. In any of these answers that I give, please feel free in all of these topics to leave comments below about your thoughts on how you handle it, if this has happened to you, for so and so on. Okay? The next thing that she asked me to cover was lowball offers. Now, lowball offers has definitely been something that we've all dealt with no matter what platform you sell on, right? But I have to say, since lives have been going on, especially on Poshmark, lowball offers have been even more so. Can we give a heads up here? And I have been noticing, especially on Poshmark, I'm not going to go into the detail on the lives. All I'm going to say is that on the lives on Poshmark, people are starting things out at really, really low prices. Because people are going to these lives now, they're under the impression that if you go onto just a regular listing on Poshmark, they can send you a $5 or $10, $7 or $10 offer on a piece that's reasonably priced for selling, and say, hey, can I get this for this piece, for this price? And you're just going to give it to them. I'm not trying to be rude, but no. I'm not going to give it at that price. If I wanted to give it at that price, I would go on to Whatnot or do my own Poshmark show and maybe list it at a little bit higher. So what I've been doing, anytime I get a lowball offer, it doesn't matter what platform it is, it doesn't matter what the lowball offer is. Typically what I try to do is, normally when people like an item on my platforms, especially, with Poshmark, even Mercari, eBay, I'm usually running sales, but that's a different topic because eBay I do differently than Poshmark and Mercari. But on Poshmark and Mercari, I naturally, if somebody likes something, they naturally get between an 18 to 20% off on their item if they like something. I'll send them an 18 to 20% off offer, depending on the item, what I have it listed for. And if it's Poshmark, you have to do the discounted shipping and all that. So they automatically get an offer from me anyway. So if somebody sends me an offer that's actually even a little bit lower than if I would have sent them a 20% offer, so to speak, okay? If it's a little bit lower than that or around that, I usually accept it. But if somebody sends me an offer, say for example, something's listed for $40 and they send me a $10 offer, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to accept the $10 offer whether they pay shipping or not. I'm just not going to do it because I know that that piece will sell for more than that, and I'm not going to tolerate lowball offers like that if they think that they can do that. What I always do, always, I counter. Whether or not it goes anywhere or not is up to them. But I always counter, typically maybe roughly halfway between what they offered me and what I'm listed it for, or roughly around the 20% that I would have normally sent them off. Okay? So if it was a $40 item and they sent me a $10 offer, typically a 20% off a $40 item is roughly somewhere between like $28 to $30, depending on how much of an offer you want to send. Because $40, 20% of $40 is $8. So say you want to send them like a 20 or 25% offer with that $10 lowball offer you got. What I typically do is I do go around that $30 price bracket offer. So I will counter their offer back with the $30 offer. If it's Poshmark, I go a little bit lower than that to kind of accommodate for a little bit of a discounted shipping. So I may do like a $28 or $29 offer, or maybe I'll do like a $30 offer and then I'm a couple dollars off on shipping is what I do on Poshmark. So no, I don't tolerate lowball offers like that. I don't think it's necessary to tolerate them. Even if we didn't have the Posh lives before that, I didn't do that. I always countered. Because sometimes when somebody sends me a lowball offer, some people are trying to look for just a really lowball deal. But if you are countering with an offer that you are comfortable with, I have actually had somebody come back and maybe kind of go between that. And if you feel like that's okay, or they just don't respond back, or some people even come back with the $10 again. And if they do that, I either ignore it or I just simply decline the offer. I've had that happen on eBay where I just decline the offer. I've gone back and forth with them and they're just insisting on a lowball offer. I'll just decline it. Okay? But I never ignore the first offer. I always counter with it. And I have had times where I counter with an offer when it's a kind of a lowball offer, and they either kind of counter meeting me halfway. So sometimes I work with that, especially if I've doubled or tripled my money, or I counter back halfway again, and then if I don't take it, then they don't take it. It really just depends on the item. It depends on how long I've had the item and what I have it priced at. Because if this is an item that you've had for maybe a few months and you would like to get rid of it, but you don't want a lowball offer on it, but you're willing to make a double or triple on your money and still bring it down, then it really depends on the item. It depends on the platform and on all that. So I hope that kind of helps with what I do. So we all are getting lowball offers though, especially since people are strapped and we have the lives going on with Poshmark and people just expect that they can pick up a piece for pennies on the dollar. Do not take those lowball offers, guys. You deserve if you're a reseller, to make some money on an item that you've listed. It is okay to say no or counter with an appropriate offer you feel is suitable for that particular piece for your business model. It's okay to do that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing. Returns. Returns was another thing that she asked about. And I think this is a really great thing to talk about. On some of my platforms, I don't get returns. I haven't gotten any returns on Whatnot. I don't get returns on Mercari. Although people could do returns, I've just never had one. I've sold over 300 items on Mercari. I've never had anybody do a return. I've had some people give me a negative star feedback. I think I've got like 3 or 4 people on Mercari that have given me negative star feedbacks for one reason or another. But I've never had anybody do a return. I've had a couple of people ask if they can cancel something, which I've done if it wasn't already shipped. If it was already shipped, I just answer them back and say, sorry, this item's already shipped. So I haven't had that. But on Poshmark and eBay, I have had returns. And I handle them differently on both platforms. Let's talk about eBay first, because Poshmark is kind of more involved. On eBay, what I typically do is I let them know, okay, first of all, on eBay, I don't pay for returns. They have the opportunity to do a return within 30 days for me. I don't pay for that return because in my description, I give a lot of great information on the item, okay? I also do free 30-day returns, or I do 30-day returns. I do measurements, whether it's in the description or in pictures. I do measurements on every clothing item I send out. So they can't come back to me and say, oh, this item didn't fit me because they didn't look at the measurements. I'm sorry. I give you the information, and if there's a flaw or something, it's always noted in pictures and in the description what the flaw is. Please note in the pictures, and I tell them what pictures to look at. So it's very specifically noted in the listing if there's anything going on and measurements. So if somebody comes back to me and says, I received this item but did not realize that it was this particular sizing. Okay, I always answer back in the message. You always want to answer back. Always answer back, guys. Don't just ignore them. That's bad customer service on your part, in my opinion. You always want to answer back. What I do when somebody messages me and says, I just received my item, the item does not fit, what can we do? I always let them know my sincerest apologies that this item did not fit. I'm more than happy to do a return for you. And then I tell them you can follow through eBay to do a return. Some people actually do the return and they pay the shipping because, again, I don't pay shipping. I've already given them all the information on my items for the item. If somebody buys something, even with all the information in my listing, and then they come back saying the item didn't fit, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay for return if I gave them all the information about that item. That's just me. I'm not going to pay to have them return it. And I have had people pay out of their own pocket to return items. I've also had people complain, say they're going to do a return and never follow through on eBay and do the return. They just keep the piece. But I also don't get negative feedback. So that I've been very, very fortunate with that. I'm not going to change it though and do free returns. I won't do that. If I was not providing the proper information or not giving details on any flaws, then maybe I can understand. Now, other returns. I do actually have people receive items that it fit them or it was their size, but it just simply didn't fit. And they will message me saying, this was my size, but unfortunately the item did not fit me. That does happen. It's happened to me. You can't always tell online if something's going to fit. So if that's the case, I'm happy to do a return, and they've been more than happy to pay for the shipping to send the item back. I refund them as soon as I get the item, and I check my item before I do the refund to make sure they didn't do anything to the item, that it's in the same condition that I sent it out in. If that's the case, which I've never had any issues, I automatically send them a refund, and there's no issues whatsoever. It's all a done deal. On Poshmark, in the beginning, I did kind of respond back to the person, and sometimes it kind of went a little bit awry. So via other YouTube videos that I've done on people doing returns, I have found, depending on the circumstance and what the issue is that the person wants to do the return on, sometimes I let Poshmark handle the situation. If somebody reaches out to me and says, this item did not fit me. I'd like to do a return. If all my information, like eBay, was correct, which it is, I give my description of any flaws, I give all my measurements and all that. Depending on the person and what they're saying, if they sent it out to me via private messaging or if they just put it out through Poshmark, on Poshmark saying they want to return, if they're asking me a question about it, what can they do, then I do respond and say, you can do a return. I'm so sorry it didn't fit. Yes, I'm happy to take a return on it. If somebody's complaining about something and I know that I'm in the right on it, I don't typically answer back. I let Poshmark handle it. And that has done me well more recently. I don't typically answer them. If it's a question or a response to me where I feel like if I don't answer it will look negatively on me, then I do answer back with the response that I feel is best suited for the situation. And then if they have other issues, I let them know, please feel free to contact Poshmark or whatever the case may be, and they usually do, and it all gets resolved. But if they just do answer me back and say, I received this item and I didn't realize it was this fit, so I'd like a return, even though there were measurements in the description, I'm quiet on the chat, and I let Poshmark deal with it, and it always gets resolved. If Poshmark says go ahead and return it, I take the return and I move on. If Poshmark goes in my favor, which they've done too, then it's just a done deal. So that's kind of how I handle that. I am very mindful though with how I communicate and make sure that I am professional, I am polite, and I am courteous no matter what happens, because that is how I conduct business. And no matter how rude they are to me, I am never rude back to them. So that's kind of how I handle those. Again, I never get returns on Mercari, and I haven't gotten returns on whatnot. So that is that. So I hope that helps with that. And thank you again so much to the person who commented down below with those questions. I think they were great things to talk about. Again, if you guys have thoughts and feedback on those topics, please do note them in the comments below. I would love to learn from you all too, because some of you have even better wording than I do on some of these topics, or have better responses than I do, and I would love to learn from y'all. So do leave comments below, you guys. Okay, so when it comes to our business models, since we are coming up on the year 2023, I would like to ask you all, are you making any changes to your business? I always say business model because everybody's business model literally is different. The reason why I say that is because depending on where you live, how you source, what kind of business, how quickly you rotate things through, are you adding more platforms, are you taking more platforms away? There's so many different aspects to reselling. Not everybody's business is the same. How you price things, what kind of items you sell. So I'm curious, in 2023, since we are approaching the time where it's time to maybe consider what changes we might be making to our business, the types of things we're listing, how we source, how we list them, offers that we're going to do, so many different things. What changes might you be making in the year 2023 in your business? And how are you making the changes and why? I would love to hear in the comments below what you are doing differently in the year 2023. Are you maybe a part-time reseller going full-time? Or the opposite, you're full-time and scaling back to part-time? Are you maybe changing the items that you sell? Are you maybe changing and switching to more online, or maybe you're switching to Goodwill stores and going sourcing more in person? Are you switching and going to whatnot? There's so many different things. Please comment below and tell me what changes you're making in your business. Another thing that I would like to talk about, what are your goals for 2023? Are you wanting to sell more? Are you wanting to list more? Are you wanting to add more platforms? Are you wanting to decrease the platforms that you're on? Are you not cross-listing yet and you're wanting to cross-list? Or maybe you're cross-listing to multiple platforms and you've decided to just sell on one platform. Comment down below. Okay, a couple other things that I wanted to talk about is Poshmark. The reason why I say that is because out of all the platforms right now, Poshmark is the most talked about for a few reasons. One, their fee, which is 20%, which except for like places that sell higher end, items like Grailed and places like that, besides them and Amazon, Poshmark has the highest fee. 2, they're in the process of being sold to another company. 3, they just recently added lives that are changing the dynamic for resellers. So I am curious what you all think about the sale of Poshmark, what's going on with that. My understanding is it's supposed to be finalized like in February, if I believe. I did some research and I think that was the date. Do you like the lives? Do you think it's a benefit or a negative as resellers on Poshmark? Partially because of lowball offers or the constant notifications. Just those couple things. And the fee, the 20% fee to sell on Poshmark, on top of the fact that to get good sales, you have to send at least usually between a 10 to 20% anyway on top of shipping discount to get sales going. And also, how are the lives affecting you? Tell me what you think about what Poshmark is going through right now. Do you sell on Poshmark? And if you currently are selling on Poshmark, are you continuing to sell on Poshmark in 2023 with everything that's going on? Or are you going to switch to eBay? Maybe Mercari, maybe whatnot? Maybe you're going to switch the dynamic of how you sell and what you sell and try a different platform. Or are you going to stick it out with Poshmark and see what happens and maybe change the dynamic of how you sell on Poshmark, maybe the different items that you sell? And I'm kind of curious, how many of you guys sell kids' clothes or men's clothes on Poshmark, or do you mainly sell women's? So these are all interesting things, you guys, about Poshmark. There's so many different things about Poshmark going on right now. Many people are even changing how they sell on Poshmark just because of what's going on. Right now, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and there are some people right now that if they can manage to sell an item with a lowball offer, say it's not like $10, right? Because we know that $10 is just ridiculous for an item that you got listed for even $30 or $40. But are you just taking any offers right now just to try and, get the algorithm going? Or are you like, you know what, no, I deserve to have that item sell for more? Are you maybe trying to list more or changing how you list your items for what price range? Are you changing the types of items that you list? I'm curious to see what you're doing to help improve how your Poshmark closet is going. Are your other platforms doing better than Poshmark with everything going on with Poshmark? Or is Poshmark still one of your better platforms to sell on? Please comment down below with all of your thoughts on all these questions. I'm super excited to see your comments for this next week. And again, if you guys have any questions or any topics you would like discussed, there are so many things going on right now with everything in the platforms and as resellers. My goodness, the whole other topic just about about sourcing alone, where you source and the COGS and Goodwill pricing, and there's so much going on with all that too. So guys, comment down below. Tell me some things you would like to discuss next week. If you have questions about some of the things that I talked about today, have feedback on them, we can continue some of those conversations next week. If you have more thoughts, please do feel free to comment down below on anything. And if there are other topics you'd like to bring up, please feel free to comment on those too. Guys, I hope this was a blessing to you. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching and reading your comments and engaging and seeing the interaction. I'm looking really forward to next week. Again, if you are new here, I hope this was a blessing to you. If you have not yet subscribed, we do unboxings. We do this chat weekly now. I also do hauls when I actually do go to the thrift store. I also do what's sold videos on here. As you all knew, we've been doing lots of Helps You Source and other platform unboxings. We also do content when we go to garage sales during the spring and summertime. So lots of great content going on here. So please do feel free to subscribe. If this video was a blessing to you, do give it a thumbs up. We've had so much growth going on our YouTube channel. I'm excited to get up to 500 followers and get up to 1,000. So please do give us help with that. We've got so many people watching our videos right now, and people haven't subscribed. So please do take just a second to subscribe to benefit our channel. And guys, we will see you next time.